Merry mate all and welcome to this video. I am apprentice Cerebral Spine Wade and I'm recording this video on my phone in front of one of my altars. So in this video I just want to show you guys just a couple of the divinatory methods that I use in my practice. So let's get started. At the very back center of my altar, you can see I've got this beautifully large 8-inch diameter scrying mirror. This scrying mirror is made from genuine black obsidian and it's on this beautiful stand. So scrying is one of my all-time favorite methods of divination. It's one of those things that I love using because it helps me to project onto the mirror, and it also allows the mirror to bring and expand my consciousness. It's a really interesting tool to use. Now, not everyone connects with the black scrying mirror, and that is absolutely fine. There are many methods of divination out there, and my whole shtick when it comes to divination is practice with a variety of different methods and find what works for you. Not every wizard will be connecting with, let's say, tarot cards. Not all wizards will connect with scrying mirrors. And that is okay. You know, you use what works for you, what you connect with. So there is my lovely scrying mirror. So I'm just going to go to the left side of my altar for a moment. So another method of divination that I do use is one that I talk about all the time on Facebook, and that is tasseomancy or tea leaf reading. So tasseomancy is one of my all-time favorites. I also practice caffeomancy, which is like the coffee version of tea leaf reading. There are many different ways that you can practice. So here I've just got a tasseomancy oracle cup, which has a bunch of symbols in there. You can use something like this. You can also use just a plain teacup. I have quite a large collection of various cups that I use for my tea leaf readings, and that's one of my favorite methods of divination to use. Another method of divination that I do use, though admittedly not that often anymore, is runes. So here you can see I've got a bunch of runes. Funnily enough, runes were the very first method of divination that I started learning when I first started my journey many years ago prior to joining grade school. It's a very interesting form of divination to use, and I do believe we also offer rune classes at grade school. Now, next to here, I've got a more sensitive image on the top here. I'm not going to show you this deck, but this is my brand new tarot deck I got recently. Now, this deck is very large. It is, as you can see, a very thick deck, very large. It's almost like an oracle card size, but this is a tarot deck. It's by the Sabbath Project. Now, I'm not going to show you all the images on this deck, but it's one of my all-time favorite decks now. It has got a lot of nude imagery in this deck, which is why I'm not going to show you too much, but it's a dark deck. And by that I mean the images are quite dark. A lot of it has got, you know, like traditional imagery concerning what the Black Sabbath is, etc. Yep, so far I've shown you the black scrying mirror, my tasseomancy, and this deck of tarot and my runes. I've also got, of course, my crystal ball. Now, this is actually not a genuine crystal ball. This is an LED or glass ball, but that is okay. You can use lead glass balls as your method of divination. It does work. I do eventually hope to get a larger size genuine clear quartz or even black obsidian crystal ball at some point in the future, but they are quite expensive. So this lead ball is fine. It works very similar to the scrying mirror in the techniques that you use to Divine. So let's continue on. Okay, so continuing on with the divination methods that I use. Back here, I have my clear quartz pendulum. I've got quite a few different pendulums, but this is a clear quartz one, it's the one I generally use. Pendulums are really great method of divination to use. They're quite easy. I'll be honest, virtually everyone can use a pendulum. So I would suggest, if you want to learn a quick and easy method of divination, pendulum work it is. Now before I go into the other forms of divination that I have here, one form that is not presented on my altar at the moment, it is the Ouija board or Ouija, simply because it's not going to fit if I have it on here. So I do use the Ouija board, the Ouija or Ouija, however you wish to pronounce it, board, as a method of connecting to spirit. And that is something that can freak out quite a few people due to, Hollywood movies and stereotypes surrounding the Ouija board. But it is a valid form of divination that I also practice. But continuing on with what I do have on here, here is also part of the Black Sabbath process. I've got a coin. This is from the Sabbath Project. It's a beautifully large coin, and it is a good method of divination. Here it's a yes/no question. So you knock on the bench or table, you say a little incantation, flip the coin, and you get your answer. It's for basic yes/no questions. Another form of divination that I use is the Oracle of the Bones. Now these are not genuine bones, but they are resin. I don't have genuine bones at the moment, but I do plan to get some eventually. But this is another form of divination that I use. And of course, just showing here, I've got my normal tarot card. This is the Mythic Tarot deck. It's one of my all-time favorite decks that I use. And I use a variety of different oracle cards. So this one here is the Madame Endora fortune cards, which is one of my favorite oracles. But I also use totem animal, like animal dreaming cards. I also use angel oracles, etc. So this here is my divination set. Blessed be.